So very good morning students. In this lecture we are going to discuss about what is MySQL. So this MySQL is one of the important topic in Unit 5. So in this MySQL you are going to learn about what is some MySQL queries, what is MySQL queries, and then how to configure with PHP and MySQL. So these are all the things you are going to learn in Unit 5. So before we just move on to what is MySQL, we can see what is a database. Okay, a database is nothing but it is an application. So generally if you want to store your data or organize your data, we need a database. Okay, for that database is nothing but it is an application, so we can store and we can organize our records. Generally database is mainly used to access our data. So if you are storing your data in terms of table, rows, columns and indexes, if you want to find the relevant information, you can fetch the data using this database command. Each database they have a unique API. API is nothing but application programming interface. So using this API we can create our data and we can manage our data and we can access the data and we can search the data. So nowadays we have different kinds of databases are available here. So such databases are, we have MySQL, Sybase, Oracle, MongoDB, PostgreSQL and SQL Server. So these are all about what is a database. So it's nothing but it is an application we can store and we can organize our records. So the syllabus for Unit 5, we are going to see some basic stuff, what is MySQL and how to connect and disconnect from the server, then how to enter our MySQL queries, and the next step is how to create a database and how to select a database, then how to create a table and how to load the data. So once you create the table, how to load the data and how to retrieve the information from the table. And if you are retrieving the information from the table, we have different kinds of select commands. So we are going to see what are all the types of select command, then how to select a particular column from the table, and how to sort the rows, then what is date calculation and what is null values, pattern matching, and how to count number of rows. Then at last we are going to discuss about how to combine more than one tables. This is all about your syllabus convention of your MySQL. Okay, generally what is MySQL? See, MySQL is an open source software, open source DBMS software, and if you want to organize your relational database, we can use MySQL. So initially it was supported by Oracle company. What is the main use we are using MySQL means it is a very fast, scalable, and it is a database management software. Okay, so if you want to process, if you want to store our data, retrieve our data, so one of the open source tool is nothing but your MySQL command. And the most familiar information in MySQL is we can conjunction your PHP script with your MySQL script. So if you want to develop a dynamic website, for the dynamic website we need a front-end tool and back-end tool. So for the front-end tool we have a PHP. For powerful back-end, for powerful database storage, we are using MySQL as our application. So not only MySQL is mainly used for dynamic server side and web-based enterprise application. This is all about your MySQL tool. And the more information on MySQL, first of all, MySQL is work on relational database management system software, and in this MySQL we can use some database operations such as we can create tables, databases, and we can create indexes. So lot of things we can create in MySQL, and entire information, if you want to store your information in MySQL, the entire information will be stored in the form of table. So what is a table? A table is nothing but it is a collection of both rows and column, and using the table we can create some relationship, and if you want to do some constraint on the table, we have a special concept called referential integrity. So these are the things is most familiar in MySQL software. And generally how this MySQL works, generally MySQL works on server base. So we have a powerful server, and the server name is exam server. See, in that exam server we have Apache and MySQL. So the entire application will be worked only on server. If the client is requesting the server, again the server will respond to the client. This is the entire process. Since it is a server based application, the client, once the client is request the server again it will respond to the client. and we can use our MySQL prompt in both GUI screen and command prompt. So we can use in both GUI screen and command prompt we can use, and we can process all the SQL command, all the MySQL command in both GUI screen and command prompt. Okay, finally once the server application will respond, it will redirect to our query, it will redirect to the output to the client screen. This is how the MySQL generally works. And how to connect and disconnect from the server. The first step is we need to install exam server. Once you install the exam server, we have a control panel. This control panel is available in your start menu. Once you click on start, you have to search exam control panel. So once you type the exam control panel, it will open the launcher like this. This is all about your exam control panel, and we have to click start button for both Apache and MySQL. So once you click the start button, it will create process ID and port. So there will be a unique process ID and unique port number, and the port number for Apache is 80 and port number for MySQL is 3306. And once you log in, once you configure the portal, and we have to move on to the browser. As I said before, MySQL they have two type of options. One, we can use GUI prompt, another one we can use command prompt. So if you want to process your MySQL queries in GUI prompt, you have to use http://localhost phpMyAdmin. So you have to type the link in your browser. So once you walk through the link, it will open the page like this, phpMyAdmin. See, in the left side we have a databases. These are all the databases, and this is all about your working area. This is how your phpMyAdmin GUI page will be displayed like this. And if you want to process your MySQL queries in command prompt, we need to move on to command start run cmd, and you need to move on to the root directory. This is all about your root directory, cd/, and you need to copy the path from c:/exam MySQL bin, copy the path from the folder, and we need to paste with the help of cd command. Cd is nothing but change directory, and you have to press cd space your path. Once you press enter, the entire directory will be changed on to c:/exam MySQL bin. And the next step, we need to configure our MySQL prompt with your command prompt screen. For that, we need to type MySQL space -u. -u is nothing but your user name of your username. The name of your username is root. -p is nothing but password. Since there is no default password for MySQL, once you press enter, it will open MariaDB console. This is how you need to connect your MySQL server from command prompt and also in your GUI screen. And the most important thing is, since there is no password for MySQL, if they ask the password, simply you have to press enter. It will automatically configure with your MariaDB screen. This is how to connecting and disconnect from the server. And the next step is how to creating and selecting the database. So if you want to create the database in your GUI screen or else in command prompt, you need to create database. You need to use create database and database name. This is the basic syntax for creating a database. Okay, once you create the database, if you want to show the database, you need to use show databases. It will list what are all the database which is already created and what are all the predefined databases are available in your MariaDB. It will list out in your command prompt itself. See, once I type show databases, it will show what are all the default databases and what are all the user defined databases is already created in your console. It will listed in your MariaDB console window. Okay, this is the first step, how to create your database. The simple step, if you want to create database, you need to create database and database name. And after creating the database, you need to create the table. Okay, the basic syntax for creating the table is you need to use the command create table name followed by the column name. So now I am going to create a table employee. So in the table I am going to create 4 columns: employee ID, employee name, department and salary. Okay, so the first basic command is create table name. Since employee ID, employee name, department and salary, so these are all the fields or column. For employee ID, the type of the column will be an integer. For employee name, it is a varchar. Department, it is a varchar type, and salary is an integer type. Okay, so at last you need to terminate with your semicolon. So once you press enter, it will throw your result as query OK, 0 rows affected. So we have created the table. Okay, so for creating the table, you need to more conscious on, you need to mention your table name and you need to mention your column name. Whether your column, it should be an integer type or varchar type or float or numeric type. At last, the MySQL queries will be terminated with your semicolons. Next, after creating your table, you need to insert your record. So the basic command for inserting a record is insert into table name and the values. So I am going to create two values here. For 101, this for Gautam. 101 is an employee ID. The name of an employee is Gautam. The department will be an HR department and salary is 15,000. Once you press enter, it will create one row. Again I am going to enter second row. For 102, it is Sanjay, HR department 15,000 salary. Okay, so far we have done how to create the table, how to load the table, how to insert the record. At last we need to retrieve the information. For that I am going to use select star from table name. So if you want to retrieve the data from the table, we need to use select command. So once you press select star from table name, select star from employee, it will retrieve what all the record which is already loaded into the table. So I already loaded 101 and 102, 101 for Gautam and 102 for Sanjay. This is all about how to create the table and how to load the data and how to retrieve the data. Okay, next we are going to see one real-time example on MySQL queries. So the example is employee salary calculation. Okay, so this is all about your real-time example. So for employee salary calculation, you need to create a table as employee salary. Employee salary is nothing but my table name, and these are all my field name: EMP ID, EMP name, department, basic,